A lot of influencer coaches tend to say social media or going out in the world and making the next Instagram post or making TikTok dance videos or, just going out and just blasting different Facebook groups is the way to create your coaching clients. They may even suggest run ads, and that is how you get your first coaching client. And those are all strategies and good strategies, but they're not the strategies for when you're getting started. They're not the strategies to get your first 10 clients. The reason why I say that is because most of these strategies require you to get a lot of momentum before you can get results. You need to spend a lot of money on ads before you can enroll a client. You need to be able to get an actual following and keep attention of this following before you can get a client. You need to be able to constantly on social media to feed the social media fuel before you can actually get clients. You might be wondering, hey, how do I get my first business coaching client? The first step and the most crucial step of building your first set of clients, which may be the first 10 clients, 20 clients, even the first 50 clients, is to truly understand who is your client. Most of us have heard the term ideal customer avatar or customer avatar. And we sometimes feel really scared about this avatar because we feel everybody can be our client. Everybody can be the person that we could be working with. And that is potentially true. If you are somebody who's really dedicated to the art and science of coaching, it's very possible that you can sit down with anyone and really create transformations in their lives. The reason why we want to start with a small group of people that we can easily access, and that becoming our customer avatar or our client avatar, is because it gets us moving. When we try to capture all of the market, we don't know what to focus on, and our mind kind of races in all directions and tries to deploy strategies across different platforms, across different channels, across different capabilities, across different clientele, and we don't know how to really follow up strongly. I've heard this someplace that it's not about how you start the business, but about how consistently you take action towards your business that defines the success of the business. And that is why you want to identify a small group of people that you have easy access to, that you want to first identify as your clients. They might not be the most ideal client that you would find. They might not even be your client 5 years from now, but that's where you want to start. The reason why you want to start there is because this ideal client where you can serve them results would give you that jump off board, that initial income, the initial confidence, the initial validation that your methodology works very, very quickly. My first set of companies that I worked with were education media companies. And the reason was because that's where I had the most experience. And because I had the most experience, I kind of understood what that company or that group of companies may require. While I had my personal experience in working with education media companies, when I worked as an external with the company, I understood the problems differently and I understood how to get them to a solution very differently. So what I did is I started my journey with a company or a group of companies that I knew is very targeted. They're very limited in size. There's only a couple thousand like that have sizable enough income to hire a coach. And then I just went with them and I started coaching them. And once I got results with them, that is when I expanded into tech companies, e-commerce companies, even agricultural companies. And as I'm expanding my field, now I can serve different types of companies because I also have working capital, I have access, I have information, I have a team that helps me deploy different strategies on these different companies. So that's the first step. Find your ideal client. As you discover this ideal client, you will find it becomes significantly easier for you to do the next thing, which is to identify the greatest outcome that you can offer to this client. The greatest outcome, not something that is, I can get them to be a better leader and I can help them make more money and I can help them with ads. No, you want to find what's the one thing that you can do absolutely best, like something that they would need, but at the same point of time, the result you will get them is unbelievable. For me, it was how to build a team. Most of the coaches and most of the consultants in my field were trying to get these companies to learn marketing and do funnels and do ads and all of these things. And I didn't want to compete in that field. And I said, listen, what is my greatest strength? My greatest strength, and I discovered that it was my greatest strength by asking my friends and colleagues in different companies as to what did they think my greatest strength was leadership. They said, Ajit, when somebody works with you, for some reason, they absolutely love working with you. They do not want to quit that job ever. It's like they have to be really, really in a situation or in a bind for them to want to leave that career and work with somebody else. So people absolutely love working with you. You are a great leader and a great team builder because the highest quality talent always wants to work with you. And I was fascinated by that. And I also recognized that that's the reason why I am so wildly successful so early in my career. So instead of approaching the same problem that everybody else was trying to solve for a company, I said, I'm going to solve a different problem that's actually a real problem for the company. And that is, most of these companies were under 10 million. And because they were doing under 10 million in revenue, one of the biggest gaps they had was they didn't know how to build a team or keep a team, how to hire the right people, how to work with them, how to not really end up hating these people that they actually work with. So my offer, which was to help them build a team, became really powerful for these companies and significantly different than anybody else that was offering in the marketplace. This was also the highest outcome I could offer. I could have coached them on marketing and sales, but when I coached them on team building, I had prepared these companies to succeed years after they would have worked with me. But that's not all. Most of the coaches would go out and say, hey, I have got my client avatar clarified. I know the result I drive. I should now just go talk to these people. That's not what you do next. What you want to do next is actually write down and practice. How would you open the conversation in a way that the person that you're talking to comes to a natural conclusion, or eventually the conversation evolves in a way where you get to present what you do. You see, one of the keys to successful enrollment is to make sure that the client says that they have the problem that you solve. If you say, hey, listen, most companies have this X problem and I solve problem X, it's not as exciting for the client. But when the client discovers that they have the problem, and then you say, well, that's exactly what I help people with, they are a lot more enrolled in further learning as to how is it that you help them. My secret way was because I wanted to work with companies. I would usually ask an open-ended question. What is the biggest reason why your revenue is not growing as fast as it could? And initially people would either talk about their product, but eventually they would get to, I don't have the team. I can only work that much. I'm working 12-hour days. I don't even know what else I can do. All of those conversations will eventually get down to the place of saying, I don't know how to hire people. I don't know how to keep people. I don't know how to develop talent. I don't know how to let go of control. And all of those things were things that I was coaching on. So naturally, the conversation would evolve in a way where I can present solutions and my offer to work with these companies. But I just didn't go in there by saying, all right, I'll just have random conversations and hopefully some conversation opens up this way. I had created questions and conversation starters that I could have at different events and different conversations, which would allow my potential clients to open up and for me to discover if that's the problem that they're facing, if that's the problem they identify with. Now, here's the thing. If they didn't identify with that problem, I wouldn't go ahead and tell them this is what I do, this is how I pitch, and this is the offer that I have. I would simply have a really fun conversation, a candid conversation, and if they would ask me, I would talk about what I do, but I wouldn't really make an offer. Here's the reason why I did that. I realized that building a client base or having a clientele is not about a one flash in a pan act. It's an act that you do day after day, month after month, and over a course of time, you build a solid enough base of introductions and clientele that you never have to go out searching for a client. You would just have clients waiting on a wait list to be working with you. And that brings me to the final step. And this final step is so crucial. Like I mentioned in the starting, a lot of influencer coaches will tell you to go influence people and then enroll clients. And maybe that will be your truth eventually. But the way to start your business, the way to get your first 10, 20, 30 clients is actually to physically meet individuals that may be your potential clients. If you're working with businesses, which you probably are, you want to look for local events or even local to the country events where your potential clients are going to go hang out. You want to find these events and then you want to show up for these events. You want to go have real conversations with people. There are two reasons for it. Firstly, the effort that you make in actually meeting people, you'll find people are a lot more responsive that way versus they're online. So they are actually having a really nice human-to-human interaction. When you physically meet people, you really get their attention and they really want to understand what you can do for them. It's significantly more powerful per interaction to actually get an enrollment through a physical, live human-to-human conversation. And then there's a second reason. Is as much as you may project into what your ideal client is, what their fears are, what their concerns are, what is it that they really want, there is nothing better than getting real-time data through a conversation. because your offer may evolve, your client base may evolve as you're interacting, as you're understanding real world problems, as you're understanding the words they use, situations they use. Now, it is a little bit more effort than, posting on Instagram, but it has significantly better results than posting on Instagram and trying to get a big following or spending a bunch of money on ads. Significantly better outcome, significantly better scale. One of the biggest keys to enroll your first or your 10th business coaching client is to have an effective methodology. A methodology that actually works and can actually create results for your clients. Over the past several years, I've built a solid methodology that creates results again and again and again. If you are a business coach, you want to be a business coach, if you are a coach that wants to add business coaching to your roster, maybe it's a good idea to click on the link below and check out what we have to offer. Or if you're confident, you're ready to go, you may want to watch the next video because I'm going to show you exactly the questions you may want to ask your clients that can help them getting better results. I'll see you in the next video.